You guys, what we're witnessing isn't just a crumbling relationship, it's the complete collapse of a system Cody and Robyn thought they could control forever. For years, they operated like the king and queen of a kingdom built on silence, favoritism, and filtered camera angles, but now, that castle is shaking, and the walls are coming down on national TV. What used to be a well-oiled machine, tightly managed money, scripted appearances, and fake family unity is starting to fall apart right in front of our eyes. And the best part? It's all on the record. This isn't rumor. This is straight from the Sister Wives episodes. Hey everyone, welcome back to TLC Sister Wives Recap. I'm Sarah, and today we're pulling back the curtain, not with speculation, but with real moments, real footage, and real emotional fallout. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know your thoughts because I promise this one's going to stir up some feelings. You see, for a long time, Robyn was able to sit pretty. She barely had to show up on screen to get her cut of the TLC paycheck, all thanks to a centralized family contract Cody controlled. The money came in, and Cody decided where it went, and Robyn, she reaped the benefits. Her kids, her mortgage, her lifestyle, all comfortably managed while the other wives carried the emotional weight of keeping the family together. But now that Janelle, Christine, and Mary are gone, the illusion Cody and Robyn worked so hard to maintain has finally cracked. And what's spilling out isn't just awkward footage or forced game nights, it's the truth: financial secrets, power plays, emotional manipulation, and the sad reality of what happens when the core family was never about love, it was about control. And now that control is slipping, we're finally seeing the story they never wanted to tell. From the very beginning, Cody Brown made sure the spotlight followed him wherever he went. He wasn't just the patriarch of the family, he was the brand. Every decision, every major move, every interview was filtered through Cody's lens of control. When Sister Wives first launched on TLC, the structure seemed unified on the outside, but behind the scenes, the financial system was anything but equal. TLC paid the family under one contract, a single check, one lump sum, and guess who controlled it? Cody. The money went into a central pot, and he decided how much each wife received. Allowances were handed out based on his discretion. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were filming regularly, showing up with their kids, managing drama, holding together family events, but that didn't guarantee equal treatment. It was Cody's way or no way. And then came Robyn. When Robyn entered the family, everything shifted. Suddenly, there was a new energy, one that didn't seem based on shared values or balance, but on a quiet consolidation of power. Robyn didn't have to fight for screen time. She didn't hustle for attention. She was positioned as the new spiritual partner, the fresh perspective, the woman Cody legally married. And once that legal marriage happened, so did her rise in the family hierarchy, emotionally and financially. She barely appeared in some seasons, yet her household never lacked support. Bills were paid, kids were taken care of, mortgage covered, and all while Christine was babysitting, Janelle was budgeting down to the dollar, and Mary was getting shut out of decision after decision. Robyn's influence was subtle at first, but it became obvious in the way conversations shifted. Cody started deferring to her more. Family meetings leaned toward her preferences. Even on camera, producers seemed to adjust the narrative to protect or elevate her. And when things got messy, like arguments about family structure or parenting, Robyn was rarely the one taking the hits. She floated above the chaos while the other wives handled the fallout. That's when the first red flags appeared. Viewers started noticing that Robyn didn't just marry into the family, she began shaping it. Her needs, her comfort, her perspective slowly started to steer the ship. And with Cody backing her every move, it wasn't long before it felt like the entire family was being run from one house. As the cracks in the family structure started to show, the financial power Cody and Robyn once held so tightly began slipping through their fingers. What used to be a well-oiled behind-the-scenes operation is now being dragged into the light, and it's not pretty. At the center of it all, a little-known LLC called Dabstock, which many believe is the funnel through which TLC payments are made for the remaining Brown household. Cody reportedly uses this entity to receive the show's income, and from there, he decides where and how the money flows. Here's where it gets murky. With Christine, Janelle, and Mary gone, Robyn's household is now the only one left tied directly to Cody. But instead of the old setup where Robyn could float in and out of scenes while still benefiting from the full family fun, things are looking different now. Robyn, who once resisted being on camera unless it suited her, is now showing up for every family game night, awkward dinner, and uncomfortable conversation. And it's not just her anymore. Her older daughters are suddenly popping up on screen, too. Viewers noticed. Why the sudden shift? Why now? Well, when there's no family left to share the screen, you start pulling from your own house. And given the way the money is allegedly handled, there's a real question about whether Robyn's daughters are being paid directly, or if Cody is pocketing those funds and covering their expenses instead. TLC checks are likely still going through that same LLC, and that means Cody decides what's earned, what's spent, and who sees a dime of it. If history is any indication, the daughters, cars, housing, and daily expenses might be covered, but the money, that's likely being managed under the family name. And let's talk about those game nights, the forced fun, the lifeless family bonding scenes that feel like they were written on the back of a napkin 5 minutes before filming started. That's not tradition, that's survival. Cody and Robyn no longer have the luxury of skipping filming and still collecting checks. With the other wives gone, they're now the storyline. And the irony, they spent years living comfortably off other people's emotional labor, their screen time, their family drama. Now Cody and Robyn are being told, if you want to get paid, you better show up and work. Welcome to the real world. One of the most unforgettable shifts in the entire Sister Wives story happened when Janelle, but unshaken, finally started calling out Cody right in front of the cameras. For years, she kept the peace, stayed out of drama, and focused on raising her kids and managing her household. But something snapped. The moment she saw Cody cater to Robyn while dismissing everyone else's needs, especially their children's, she stopped playing nice. We all remember it. Janelle looked Cody dead in the eye and said, "I don't think anyone's even thinking about you and Robyn." That line hit like a truck. It wasn't loud, but it was devastating. Cody's face said it all. That single sentence tore through the illusion they were still at the center of the family. Because they weren't even close. And it didn't stop there. Janelle went further, questioning why Robyn always seemed to get her way, why her house was always paid off first, and why Cody constantly made excuses for not showing up for the other kids, but never missed a moment in Robyn's household. When she said, if Cody can be that controlled by Robyn, she didn't even need to finish the sentence. Everyone watching knew exactly what she meant. Janelle was calling it what it was: manipulation dressed up as partnership. Robyn, of course, didn't take it well. Her go-to move is tears. But instead of those tears generating sympathy this time, they started revealing something else: defensiveness, guilt, and fear that the truth was finally coming out. Her insistence that the core family was just the people still living in Flagstaff, that didn't sit right with anyone. Because let's be real, what kind of mother writes off the older kids just because they don't live under her roof? Christine wasn't having it either. Her clarity came the moment she realized Cody wasn't just neglecting her. Emotionally, he was absent for their daughter's surgery, never showed true partnership, and always prioritized Robyn's comfort above everything. That core family lie shattered. The moment Christine saw it was never about keeping the family whole, it was about keeping Robyn at the center. And the hypocrisy: Robyn demands inclusion for her kids, but has never lifted a finger to make sure the other children, Janelle's, Christine's, even Mary's, felt equally valued. She wanted loyalty, but only if it revolved around her. And that's when the rest of the family said enough. There are moments in Sister Wives that linger not because they're explosive, but because they quietly expose everything that's been broken for years. And none hit quite as hard as the quilt scene. Christine's unfinished anniversary gift, for codes stitched together from old t-shirts, memories, and decades of shared life, was supposed to be a symbol of love. Instead, it ended up being a metaphor for the entire marriage: patchy, incomplete, and ultimately discarded. We watched as Christine explained how much effort she put into that quilt. She pieced it together during their 10th anniversary, trying to create something meaningful from all their shared history, but it was never finished. And that said more than she ever needed to. The relationship never got the attention or respect it deserved. And in the end, the quilt sat in storage forgotten, just like her. Then came the kicker. Cody wanted the shirts back. That cold, awkward request hit like a slap. Who asks for the remnants of a failed marriage, on camera knowing full well it's going to reopen wounds? It wasn't about the fabric, It wasn't even about sentiment. It felt calculated. Christine knew it. We knew it. That move didn't scream closure. It screamed control. As if Cody couldn't stand the idea that she had something and it still symbolized their history on her own terms. And it all tied back to something he said with shocking honesty. "I think I need a lot of attention." That moment was jarring. Cody didn't talk about needing love, loyalty, or even understanding. No, he needed attention. That's it. And suddenly, everything made sense. The show, the chaos, the constant pushing of boundaries, it wasn't about faith or family. It was about being seen, being the star. And once the spotlight shifted to the women who finally stood up for themselves, he started to unravel. Then there's Robyn, always teary, always pleading. Her monologues about loyalty, betrayal, and family values have become background noise. But the contrast is stark when you see the other women handle heartbreak. Christine cuts up a quilt to reclaim her peace. Janelle calmly dismantles the myth of Cody's leadership. Even Mary, after years of waiting, finally walks away with her head held high. They don't need speeches. Their actions speak volumes. The polished image Cody and Robyn tried to maintain of unity, control, and being the real family has crumbled. Viewers have seen the reality. A couple desperately trying to hold on to relevance while the rest of the family finds strength in walking away. That quilt may never have been bound and finished, but in the end, it became something even more powerful. A symbol of the emotional labor these women poured into a life that never truly gave back. And when Christine took the scissors to it, she wasn't just cutting fabric, she was cutting the final thread, tying her to a man who only ever wanted to be adored. There was a time when Cody Brown proudly stood as the patriarch of a sprawling, plural family. He built his identity around that title: husband to 4 women, father to many, center of attention. But now, that entire world has crumbled, and the final scenes we're seeing from Cody and Robyn feel less like reality TV and more like echoes of a broken vision. Cody doesn't even pretend to want plural marriage anymore. You can see it in the way he talks, the way he moves, the way he disengages. There's no more fire, no more conviction, no more pretending this lifestyle means something sacred to him, because it never really did. He's said it outright: needs attention, not love, not connection, and definitely not the responsibility of being emotionally available to more than one woman. What once gave him power now just looks like a burden he resents carrying. Meanwhile, Robyn is still clinging desperately to the dream, her dream, the porch full of sister wives, the giggling kids, the peaceful shared dinners, but it was never real. It was a fantasy built on everyone else's sacrifices. And now that no one's sacrificing anymore, there's nothing left to hold it up. She wanted the benefits of plural marriage without doing the work of actually maintaining those relationships. And now, with Mary, Christine, and Janelle gone, it's painfully obvious. She's alone in a role designed for 4. Even the show itself feels different now. Manufactured game nights, awkward sit-downs, stilted scenes. It's all a desperate attempt to stretch a storyline that no longer has a pulse. Viewers aren't buying it. The energy is gone. The spark that made Sister Wives something people couldn't look away from has shifted away from Robyn and Cody. Because the real story now is in the freedom of the women who walked away. Christine, radiant and rebuilding. Janelle, firm and independent. Even Mary, long stuck in limbo, has stepped out of the shadows. They're no longer background characters in Cody's drama, they've become the main event. And Robyn and Cody, they're left with the wreckage of what they tried to control. And as someone who's followed this journey with all of you, my name's Sarah, and this is TLC's Sister Wives Recappled. Just say it like this: when you build your world on silence, obedience, and emotional manipulation, don't be surprised when the silence breaks and everything falls.